Hello, everyone. It's me, Miss Crystal, and welcome back to episode 5 of Miss Crystal's podcast program, MCPP. And once again, I'd like to congratulate everyone on being a part of the world's number one podcast that we have. I have the world's number one podcast, according to Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. And please don't fact check me, because you might not find the facts. You might find what's called alternative facts or fake news. And I just say that it's the number one podcast just to make y'all think that it is, but it's not. Anyway, welcome back. Thanks for being here. We have reached number 5. What's so special about the number 5? Let's see. Nothing, really. I can't. A dozen is 12. A couple is 2. A few is 3. Nothing's really special about 5. But what's special is that we are here together, and we are here with Safety Man. Hello, Safety Man. Safety Man is sporting a new hairstyle today, and I like to think of this one as that young man from Harry Potter, Severus Snape. I think he looks like that. I think he looks edgy. I think he looks like a guy that I would actually date if he was a real person and not a fake blow-up doll. Because I like that look that, oh, is he unhoused? I kind of like that look. Dangerous, he looks dangerous. But here we are. And we are here recording at 6:30 p.m. at night, and I ate earlier. And you might say, what did you eat, Miss Crystal? Well, I ate a Factor meal, and this isn't an ad. On the other podcast, Trailer Tales, when I talk about a Factor meal, it is an ad. Factor meals are not paying me, but what they are doing is sending me 5 free meals to eat because of Trailer Tales. It was delicious. It was filet mignon with cauliflower, and it said cocktail onions, which I thought was something strange to write on there. And what was the other one? It started with an L. It was some word I didn't know, and I didn't know if that was a fish. Oh, leek. It was a leek. I said to myself, is a leek a fish or a vegetable? I don't know. We will Google that later and find out. It's half and half. To me, it could be, oh, I went fishing today and caught a leek. Or it could be, I'm growing leeks in my garden. And I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments exactly what it is. Probably hundreds of people. People like to tell me, when I sit here and try to think of something, they'll say, oh, Miss Crystal, what you're trying to think of is this or that. And I enjoyed it with a piping cold Coke Zero with sugar-free vanilla, just full of poison. So much poison in that Coke Zero and that sugar-free vanilla. Unheard of amounts of poison. That's why I like it. And I have it here. I don't have a Sonic drink because I already had one today. And 2 Starbucks. What did you have for dinner tonight? What did you fix your family? Did you fix Hamburger Helper? Because that was a favorite that I would cook back in the day. You eat a lot of carbs back in the day. Hamburger Helper with a side of mashed potatoes with a side of corn. It's like, how many starches can we get in one meal? What else could you have made them? Maybe you made them, maybe it's taco night. Maybe it's Taco Tuesday. It's not, because this comes out on Monday, but somebody might be watching this on Tuesday, because the first day, a lot of people watch it. Second day, a lot of people watch it. Third day, everybody done watched it. Nobody else is watching it. So it's either Monday or Tuesday. It could be Taco Tuesday or mashed potato Monday. Whatever you do, I hope you spend it with your family. Because when I eat, it's either me and Tammy eating, or sometimes Dave will come over to eat if we remember. Or sometimes I'm sitting in my car and eating alone, and then some jackass will pull up beside me. 8 other spots in the place. He's going to pull up beside me as I'm trying to shame eat. Don't pull up beside me, ma'am or sir. So that's how my dinner was. As far as my week, guess what? New glasses. I'm trying to look at them. New glasses. New in terms of they have new lenses in them. I got my bifocals. I don't have to take my glasses on and off to see. But the frame, vintage. You won't find a frame like this anymore. They don't make them like this. Upside down looking glasses. They're my favorite. I love them because I like when people to look at me to think, is she wearing her glasses upside down? And if so, why? But let me see. If I turn them upside down, how would they look? Trying to look in the microphone. And that's not good because the bifocal part is at the top and then I can't see. With this, I could see you. I can see here. I can see middle of the terrain. And I can't get over how quickly they were able to make these. It was less than a week. And they called me and said, Miss Crystal, your glasses are ready. And the little girl was probably 20 who gave them to me. And she just like, she said, do you like them? And I said, yes, I like them. Do you like them? And she goes, mm-hmm. New glasses. Also got 2 new tires on my car because the 2 in the front were so bald that there weren't edges. They were round on the edges. And I got 2 mid-range tires at Discount Tire, not a promotion again. And I've been driving around today and it sounded loud. Tires sounded loud and I thought, damn, did they not align it when they put the tires on? And I called the guy, hey, fella, did you guys align my tires? And he goes, no, ma'am, we don't do that here. I thought you just did that when you put tires on, but I guess not. So now I got to run back up there to this other place, get my tires aligned so that it don't sound like this. That's my week. Tell me how your week was in the comments below. Someone is running around upstairs. You can't hear it, so there's no reason why I'm saying it, but it sounds like a child's running around. And that brings me to Hunk of the Week. This week's Hunk of the Week is a Nashville local. Hopefully he will one day be sitting where Safety Man is sitting. He's been on Trailer Tales. He's a comedian. He is a philosopher. And he's an all-around nice guy. His name is Dusty Slay. That's his real name. That's not a stage name. That's not a name they picked because they thought, oh, your real name is too hard to pronounce. His name is Dusty Slay. In fact, he told me his middle initial was R. I don't know if that's a secret, but his middle name is Richard. His name is Dusty Richard Slay or Dusty Dick Slay. And I think that's a really cool name, Dusty Dick. Well, the reason I picked Dusty Dick Slay, the reason I picked Dusty Slay is because he is, anytime that I go up to Zany's, I see him performing Very nice man. Always kind to the little people. He doesn't, this man has several. Okay, I don't know exactly how many. I know he has one special on Netflix, and it's out right now. It's called Wet Heat. And if you want to know why it's called that, you're going to have to watch it. Even though he has at least one Netflix special, and I think it's 2. I don't know how many. I looked over at my neighbor to see if he knew, and he is asleep, which is very discouraging. He's got 2. He let me know. A man that has 2 Netflix specials still talks to people in the club as if they're just normal, everyday people. He doesn't say, "Oh, I have 2 Netflix specials. I shouldn't talk to you." Not once. I see him working hard. He's always up there doing his new material. He's always up there on shows. He does a podcast with Nate Bargatze. I always say his name wrong. Always. And that's another guy you should look up. If you like to watch comedy, but you don't like to hear curse words or talking about private parts and everything else, check out those guys. They have a nice podcast called, I really should research my hunks of the week. Why would you try to promote one of your friends and not know the information? What an idiot. If you have a encyclopedia set, go to the S, because when you look up people, you always have to look up by their last name. Look up S for Slay and look up Dusty Slay, and then I'm sure it'll tell you everything you need to know. How many specials he has, his birthday, his wife's name is Hannah, and I know that because I follow her on Instagram because she's also funny. Imagine having 2 hilarious parents, because that's what they are. They're parents. That would be a wonderful upbringing. Also, you'll notice this about Dusty. When he's doing his stand-up, he will lift his hand up and say, "We're having a good time." And that indicates to the crowd, hey, we're having a good time. If you're sitting there thinking, "Oh, I'm not having a good time," or "I'm thinking about my wife cheating on me at home," you see Dusty put a hand up like so and say, "We're having a good time." And he's wearing a very cool trucker hat, always. I'm going to be honest. I've seen Dusty a couple times without a hat, and I don't know who he is. His whole being changes. His whole structure of his head changes. It doesn't look like Dusty. If Dusty was an undercover cop, all he'd have to do is take off his hat. It changes everything. I believe back in the Grecian times, there was a character in the book. I don't know much about it, but he had his real long hair like Dusty has, and I think the guy said, "Don't cut my hair off because my power is in my hair." And again, I didn't research this heavily, but somehow the guy got his hair cut off and he thought he lost his power. And really, it turns out that the power wasn't in the hair. All along, the power was in his own heart and soul. So what I'm trying to say to you is, even though I said Dusty doesn't look the same without his hat, the power's not in his hat. The power is in Dusty Slay's heart and soul. Was that profound? Maybe. Will that make people think? Yep. Because now you're going to start Googling Dusty Slay. You're going to see a picture of a man with a hat going. Now, there are people that will take a picture with Keanu Reeves, and Keanu doesn't want to touch anybody because he doesn't want anybody to ever say, "Keanu Reeves touched my buttock area when we were taking a picture," or "Keanu gave me one of these on my butt." Same with Dusty. I see Dusty, he's always going like this. He's not going to have that hand being accused of touching anything. Maybe it's his hand. It's one of his hands. He's got two of them, and one of them he lifts up and says, we're having a good time. And one day, I hope that I could be as cool as Dusty Slay and have a signature kind of move. I won't steal this one because that's his, but maybe thumbs up. I'm sure somebody else has that. I don't know. Maybe this. And then I'll say, we're having a good time. And I'll go. Or maybe this one. We're having a good time. I'm going to work on my signature move. If you have an idea for a signature move, leave it in the comments with the hand emojis. Maybe a head and then a hand going like this. But shout out to Dusty Slay, hardworking comedian here in Nashville and all over. I bet if you looked on his website right now, you'd see tour dates that would blow your mind. Because I see him here, and then I also see on the internet that he's everywhere. And he goes around with another fella that I know named Will O'Donnell. But this ain't about Will O'Donnell. This is about Dusty Slay. For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow, and we're having a good time. And that will complete Hunk of the Week. We are on our 5th Hunk of the Week segment, and I think they have room to grow. Instead of maybe 5 to 10 minutes before the podcast thinking about it, maybe I should take a day before and do some research so that I don't look like a freaking idiot. That's my promise to you, viewers and listeners. I will research Hunk of the Week more. Because the first ones I was just kind of going by feeling and what I knew. Know a lot about Keith Morrison. Know a lot about Michael Landon. Beth Franks. I knew about them. Dusty, I don't know as many facts about him. I couldn't tell you his birthday. I couldn't tell you where he grew up. I knew it's not Nashville. He grew up somewhere else. Maybe Alabama or Mississippi. Somewhere else. I don't have the facts. Ill prepared, but guess what? We are having a good time. And that's called a callback. I called back to one of Dusty's jokes. And that's going to lead me right into one of what's becoming one of the favorite segments. I've seen at least 3 people saying, figuring out the figurine is my favorite segment. And that's where we're at now. This week's figuring out the figurine is very similar to the cat one, playing with the balls, in that it's on a mirror. And on the bottom it says, Sunrise Rooster. And it's an original design by Glass Baron. Glass Baron also made the cat. And here's the deal with these. You're going to find these at a gas station. I'm just being honest. These aren't at a museum or some other fancy boutique. These are going to be at a gas station. When you're driving between Phoenix, Arizona and San Diego, and there's a couple truck stops, you're going to see a glass cabinet with beautiful, beautiful figurines like this. This one was given to me by someone, and of course, I don't know who, but they said, Miss Crystal, I got a big cock for you. And that's not me trying to be inappropriate. Roosters are called cocks. I don't know why. I didn't name them. I know that in Spanish, chickens make different noises than they do in English. Chickens say, pew, pew, pew. It's something I learned in high school Spanish. They say chickens speak differently in Spanish. Look it up. If you don't believe me, look it up in the same encyclopedia that you would look up Dusty Slay, S, Spanish. So this big cock has a beautiful little, I don't know what this is called, plum tail feathers, purple and green. Can you figure out what that little cock is saying? What's he saying? He's saying, time to wake up. And this says sunrise rooster, but what I found out in my adulthood, because I lived close to someone that had roosters, roosters don't just tell you to get up in the morning. They tell you to get up at all times of the day. And when you're trying to watch your programs, most importantly, your stories like Days of Our Lives reruns, not this one specifically, but one that looks just like this will be all the live long day, all day and night. You will hear this MFer. Don't want to curse, but a rooster will bring that out of you because they just don't stop. What are they saying? Figure out the figurine, but also figure out what the hell the rooster is saying. What is he saying? He's just hollering for no reason. But that's his job. When God made roosters, he said, hey, he said, hey, little cock, what you're going to do is make a bunch of noise all day long. And the little cock was like, okay, here we go. Now, the reason I like this is because on the mirror, it looks like there's little pieces of food for the little cock to eat. Sorry, I'm having some booger issues. What are you figuring out about this figurine? I'm figuring out that his name probably is something along the lines of Lance or Leonardo. He just looks like an L, doesn't he? He looks very majestic. And I bet this particular rooster impregnates a lot of chickens. Because look at how pretty his tail feathers are. And if you look real close, his little eyes are blue gems. They are topaz. And considering they were bought in a gas station, I'm going to say that they are real. Because they're small. A topaz of that size isn't going to be as expensive as if it was a diamond. Diamonds are very expensive. But he's walking around the barnyard saying, where's all my ladies at? Where's all my hoes at? And then he reproduces with a chicken, and then that makes baby chickens called chicklets. The thing that gets me about this is the people, Glass Baron, it says visit us at glassbaron.com. Damn. Is that the price? $31? Yeah, these aren't cheap. The thing that gets me about these is there was a table of people sitting around at glassbaron.com, and they were saying, well, which glass sculpture figurine should we make today? And then Frank probably was like, let's make a dog. And then Jesse's like, we got plenty of dogs, Frank. Think of something different. And then a lady named Janine was like, do we have any chickens or roosters? And that's when production started. They're like, you got it, Janine. Let's make a cock. And then Janine says, you can't say that at work. And then there's this whole discussion about, can they say cock at work if they're referring to a rooster? And can I say it? Will YouTube know the difference between when I'm saying cock for chicken or the other one? How does it know the difference? Because all it is robots. You upload a video and then a robot at YouTube is analyzing it and saying, how many curse words? How many illegal songs? How many TV shows are in here that we have to shut you down because you can't have copyright material? So we'll see. We are yet to see the robots on YouTube if they will shut me down for talking about this. And if that's the case, I will go on a tirade on Instagram and talk about how YouTube is stifling. Someone has a very loud speaker. I bet it's Mr. Elgin. So we'll see. We'll see what YouTube thinks of the use of the word cock. And I keep saying it over and over again, but it could be detrimental. Thank you for joining me on Figuring Out the Figurine. And man, we are just blasting through these segments. The segment I want to do right now is the rant of the week. The rant of the week is a new segment. I think we had one last week. He said I'm correct. He woke up just to tell me that. The rant of the week is, if you are a person on Instagram or TikTok or any other video sharing platform, please stop making these videos where you wink. I don't know why it enrages me so bad, but when I see a gal or a guy who is lip syncing to a song, and then at the end, they punctuate it with a wink, I'm telling you, my head is going to explode. I don't know what it is about winking. Winking makes me rage on a level that I can't even explain sitting here to you. I don't know why I picked this, because I can't articulate to you how enraged I become when I see someone winking. Not just a regular wink, but it's when they are lip syncing, they finish the song, they think they really did something, and then they go, as if that is going to make the viewer go like this. Aw. It makes me want to take the person that winked and put them in a box, lock it up, and throw the key away. And I don't think I've ever met anyone that winked that wasn't a creep. Anyone that's ever winked is a creep. Now, I will tell you this story. Many years ago, I was at my friend's house, and I was single and maybe looking for someone. And I got to talking to this young man that was there. I think his name was Andrew. And we were chit-chatting and talking, and I thought, wow, this might go somewhere, you know. He seemed really interested. And I stood up and got ready to leave, and he gave me a wink. And at the time, I thought, wow, he's trying to tell me in a nonchalant way that he is digging me or really into me, right? And I thought, I'd never had anybody wink at me like that. And I'd given him my phone number, and this was back way before texting. So he called me and said, do you want to go out on a date with me, Miss Crystal? And I said, well, sure. And we went out later that week. Well, turns out, and I'm not making fun of this man, but he had some sort of condition, maybe a Tourette's. And it wasn't a wink to be sensual or sexy. It was a wink that was a tick, you know, like that sort of thing. It didn't work out between me and him. Suffice to say, it had nothing to do with his winking, even though I was very disappointed that it turned out he was not winking at me. But I think that leftover trauma from thinking he was winking at me has brought me to this point when I see someone on TikTok winking. It fills me with absolute rage. And I know that I'm smiling right now because my instinct is to scream. I don't want to see anyone winking anymore for any reason on any platform unless it's a joke like, hey, you're looking cute today, and then you give them one of these. That's it. I don't want to see somebody doing a thirst trap and winking at the end, especially a grown man and a grown woman. Don't do it. Do not wink at people. Stop. Thank you. And that will end the rant of the week. And I've been alerted. Guess what time it is? 30 minutes of product. We have gotten to the 30-minute mark of episode 5. And I can't tell you how overjoyed I am. Not because we are, again, getting to the end of the episode, but just because I think every week, I can't do it. I don't have nothing to talk about. No one will like my figurines. I think it's going to last 10 minutes. And here we are at 30 minutes and ready to do more segments. We got more segments. You think we're done? Better check in with Safety Man. Does he look like he's done? A little. Looks a little disheveled. Looked like he had a hard weekend of drinking. And I'm talking binge drinking, 24 hours drinking. Not showering, not sleeping, just drinking. Smells like a brewery. That's the kind of drinking Safety Man looks like he's been doing. And I had a nice lady come over here earlier to clean the studio, and she spoke Spanish, and she didn't think nothing of him. Usually when people come in here, they get very scared. They're like, whoa. She didn't think nothing. She thought it was normal that there was a blow up doll sitting here. I said, did he scare you? And she goes, no. I thought, okay. You must have seen some shit then, lady, because that's weird. And even I can admit that. That is weird. And it's time for voicemails. And you might have noticed I've started to play the old voicemail from a different podcast that another woman did. And it was requested. And I can't play the whole thing because it's way too long. But basically, it's a old Irish tune. Some people like it. Some people don't. And I'm going to keep playing it till the day I die. Voicemail, voicemail. It's time for the voicemail. I'm going to put my headphones in for the voicemails. Again, did not vet these or pre-check. So here we go. Here we go, MFer.
G'day, Miss Crystal. It's Anna from Australia, and I'm so happy to be speaking with you. My question is, if you did come to Australia, what's the one thing you would love to do? Also, did you ever find Rodney? May you be blessed beyond your comprehension. Lots of love from Australia.
Oh, my. You know what? I am not. Australian accent is one of the hardest ones to do on the planet. And I don't think she's faking it. And the reason I don't think she's faking it is because the phone number has too many numbers. So it's from somewhere else. It's from another land. Also, can y'all believe that someone all the way in Australia is able to get this podcast? I cannot believe it. I thought, oh, people in Texas will get it. People in New York. But Australia? I know that the flight there, because I've been there, took so long that I wanted to open the door and jump out into the ocean. It's too long of a flight. They need to create a faster flying system. I mean, it was hours upon hours. But the fact that a podcast signal, and I'm not even sure how it works. I don't know if it's like radio signals, but the fact that someone in Australia is able to see and hear this podcast is blowing my mind. Now I need to listen to it again just to see what she said, because I was just, this damn thing. I just enamored.
G'day, Miss Crystal. It's Anna from Australia.
Anna from
I'm
Australia.
So happy to be speaking with you.
Listen, I thought it was a old wives' tale that they said, "Good day, mate." But she just said it. Anna said it. "Good day, mate, from Australia." Terrible.
My question is, if you did come to Australia, what's the one thing you would love to do? Also, did you ever find Rodney? May you be blessed beyond your comprehension. Lots of love from Australia.
Not only is she a true fan because she knows my signature sign off, but she talked about Rodney, who is, we know the story of Rodney. If you know, you know. The question was, if I was to come to Australia, which I have, but if I was to come again, what would I do? Well, I'll tell you one thing I'm not going to do. I'm not going to mess with a kangaroo. I've seen many kangaroo videos where kangaroos are stronger than some of the strongest men you've ever seen. I mean, these kangaroos must be lifting very heavy, because I've seen a kangaroo fight a dog. I've seen a kangaroo fight a grown man, and the man and the dog did not win. These are trained boxers, trained MMA kangaroos. So I'm not going to mess with kangaroos. Also, what I'm not going to do in Australia is look for your spiders, because I know there's some giant spiders there. Don't want nothing to do with it. So what would I do there if I had the chance to go there again? Because the first time I went there was not good. I would definitely say, "Good day, mate," to everybody I saw. That would be one thing I would do. I would definitely say, "Can I eat a Vegemite sandwich?" Because Australia is big on Vegemite, and I don't know what it even is, if it's good or not, but I know Australians love Vegemite. I would also listen to that band Men at Work, because I know they're from Australia. I would listen to some, I'm trying to think of good other Australian bands. Olivia Newton-John, R.I.P. I would listen to her. Who's that lady? A pop singer. She's still alive. Can't think of her name. I'd listen to her. But mostly I'd go to the beach. I'd go to that big Sydney Opera House, because that's a big thing. And then I would just, try to go out on a date with an Australian man. Or maybe I'd come see you, Anna. And I'm not asking to stay at your house, even though that would be very nice, because the flight is expensive. I mean, the damn thing cost me a fortune back in the day. And then maybe we could just, watch the toilet go the opposite direction. That's another thing. Why does the toilet go the other direction? The things you take for granted. After you go to the restroom and you look down and it spins one way, you're in Australia. Guess what, folks? It's spinning the other way. And that might not be factual, because I don't remember if I looked the last time I was there. There was a lot going on the last time I was there. I'll save that story for another time. But yeah, I just can't believe we have an international caller. This is a first. I'd like to give it up to you, Anna, for being our first international caller. Maybe we will erect a statue of you, or maybe give you a plaque. Probably neither one of those things. If you want to check out another Australian, Anna, check out my friend, and she is one of my best friends on the internet. And her name is Sherilyn Barnes. Everybody should check her out. She's one of my best internet friends. She's an older woman like me. She sings, she dances. She does a lot of stuff. So check her out. That would be another thing I would do if I went to Australia. I'd say, hey, Sherilyn Barnes, can you come out to have dinner with me? And she'd say, okay, Chucky, because that's how she talks. Thank you so much for calling, Anna. May you be blessed beyond your comprehension. As far as Rodney, no, we have not found Rodney. He's gone. He ain't never coming back.
Hi, Miss Crystal. It's Metro. I'm calling in from Portland, Oregon. I met you here, and I'm calling in with a story I like to call Oops, He Did It Again.
Uh-oh.
With my bestie. So here's the tea. The first time I caught my man cheating with my best friend, I was shocked. A little heartbroken, devastated. You know, Netflix told me to take a walk, and even Spotify played me a breakup playlist without asking. But I forgave him because love is blind, stupid, and apparently wearing clown shoes. The second time, I was like, okay, maybe they tripped and fell into each other's mouths. Accidents happen, right? Okay. The third time I caught them, I started wondering if maybe I was a side character in my own relationship. Like, damn, am I just the narrator here? And yes, there is a fourth time. The fourth time, I didn't even react. I just made popcorn and I watched from the window like I was in some kind of telenovela. Anyway, my therapist calls it a trauma cycle. And I call it a rebooted sitcom with bad casting and worse writing. Anyway, the moral of the story is if your man keeps cheating with your best friend, they're not your best friend. And he's not your man. But hey, at least I got a voicemail story out of it.
First of all, did you say your name was Metro? That's what I heard. First of all, you got it. You hit the nail on the head. That's not your man and that's not your best friend. And I will be the first to say here, both of them. Once, yeah. Twice, 3 times, definitely not. Fourth, what are you doing, honey? Stop. You fool me once. Shame on you. You fool me twice. Shame on you. You fool me 3 times. I'm stupid. You fool me 4 times. And what is wrong with me? Trauma cycle. That's what it is. Your therapist hit it. Your therapist hit it on the head. The disrespect that these 2 people are showing you is unreal. It's almost like I want to say the audacity of them to do this because you sound like a nice person and they both took your kindness and thought it was weakness. And it was weakness for 4 times. It was weakness for 4 times, but I'm assuming there has been no more times because you didn't say 5. So at 4, you're like, I've had enough. And that's fine. Sometimes it takes us longer to get to being done. I know I have dated many men over the years where I should have ended it 10, 15 years earlier. And it took a long time. Once I decided, oh, this ain't for me. It took me quite a while. So I'm right there with you. Maybe I trauma cycle. I don't know. You fool me once, shame on me. You fool me twice, there's going to be a 3. You fool me 3 times, there's going to be a 4. You fool me 4 times, and there's no more. See how that worked out? That was beautiful, poetic, and sometimes it just takes us longer to get there. Are you a bad person for that? Of course not. They're the bad people. They're the bad people thinking that you were going to put up with it for a fifth time. Mm-mm. And guess what? Tell them you lose them how you got them. And put that in your pipe and smoke it. Thank you for your call. Thank you for being vulnerable and being able to tell us all here, hundreds of thousands of listeners, that you put up with some BS for 4 times. Love you. Bye-bye. Uh-oh, here's one. What's this?
Hey, Miss Crystal. I'm high right now. I was just wondering, when you are traveling up through realms,
Right.
have you ever encountered aliens? Ghouls? What about goblins? Thank you so much.
That is a great question. I love that. Also, I love that you said you're high, and that's really funny because that made you think of realms. Here's the deal with realm traveling. You never know what it's kind of like, what's that guy with the chocolate? Forrest Gump. Realm traveling is kind of like what Forrest Gump says. It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Have I seen aliens in other realms? Yes. Ghouls? Never. Goblins? I've seen goblins on this side. If I was to see a ghoul in another realm, I think that would be the end of my realm traveling. Ghouls are demonic and spooky. Goblins are cute and mischievous. Now, I know a goblin in real life called John. I've had a romantic times with John Goblicon. If you don't know who he is, look him up. He's a real life goblin. Green skin, big nose, long wiry fingers, black hair, hunchback. He's a real goblin. I don't need to travel to a different realm to see this goblin. But as far as ghouls, that'd be it for me. What's the difference between a ghoul and a goblin? I know that there is a big beef between goblins and ghouls. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know ghouls are bad. When you sometimes you read on the internet and you'll have a lady that looks, kind of pale and dark circles, and somebody say, "Ooh, she looks ghoulish." That means ugly, spooky, scary, not right. I don't want nothing to do with a ghoul. That's all I'm saying. I have not traveled to a realm yet with my neighbor here. I don't think he would understand, or I don't know that he would like to see me travel to other realms. It might frighten him. But aliens, yes, I've seen aliens. They're just as you imagined. Small, almond eyes, small, tiny little mouth, 3 fingers that are long, and it's true what they say. Yes, they anal probe. I don't know why. I don't know what kind of information they're gaining from anal probing. You can do the same thing by putting a probe in my mouth or my ear. You're going to get the same thing. I don't know why they have to do it via the anal cavity. I think that's just aliens being silly, or aliens playing a prank on us because they know that they are a smarter species than us. They're like, well, let's see what we can get away with. Let's see if we can stick this probe up their butt. And generally people will let them do it because that's what they're known for. They're known for beaming people up and probing them. They're not known for beaming people up and putting a probe in their mouth. They're known for putting it in their butts, which is quite a prank. They are really pranking us.
Hi,
Anna from Austin, Texas. Can you please get John Stamos as a guest? Thank you.
2 Annas on the show, and one from Texas, one from Australia. Anna, I'm trying to get John on here. I don't want to come out and just say, hey, would you please be on my podcast? Because it would help with the ratings. I don't want to say that. I want it just to naturally happen. I'm waiting for him to send me a message on Instagram that's like, love what you're doing on your new podcast, Miss Crystal. And then that's when I'd say, hey, if you ever are in Nashville and want to be on my podcast, let me know. I'm waiting for a natural invitation. I'm not going to come out and ask him, even though he was the last one to ask for a favor. He asked me to read his book. And you might say, well, why is that a favor? Because I don't read. That's why. I read his book because the John Stamos said, hey, I'm going to send you a book, Miss Crystal. Will you read it and let me know what you think? And I did that. And it's the last book I've read in years. And there's pictures in there too, which has made it a lot easier. So what I'm trying to say is, Anna, we're working on it. We're going to make it happen. I'll lose my mind though.
I jack off to you, Miss Crystal.
Okay. That sounded not good. Let's turn that off.
I jack off to you, Miss Crystal.
I don't know if it was clear what this caller said, but to me it sounded like I jack off to Miss Crystal. And all I can say to that is thank you. That is very nice. I appreciate it. Anytime somebody says that they do that and they're thinking of me or about me or looking at a picture of me, I'm flattered. Thank you. There's this whole Me Too movement going on, which is great. I agree with it. Leave women alone. But also there's a sector of women like me who don't get enough sexual harassment, who don't get enough unsolicited attention from men. So anytime I get it, I welcome it. You want to catcall me? Do it. I love it. You want to tell me that you look at my pictures and J.O. to it? Let me know. I'm excited. I'm happy. Feel blessed. So thank you for your caller. Thank you for your call, caller. What else we got in here? Okay, that was the same one. Sounded really spooky at the end.
Hey, Miss Crystal, it's Marjorie down here at Cream Shack. Hey, baby, we was cleaning off the picnic tables this morning and noticed a prescription bottle sitting here with your name on it. It says here, antibiotic apply 2 to 3 times to affected taint area until clear. So, it sounds important. I put it behind the counter. If you want to run down here, pick it up. Just Kinsley and Brinsley is working the shift tonight. Just come down, baby. They are expecting you to pick it up. All right. Bye-bye.
Ayden, do you know how to block the Cream Shack's number? Can we just go ahead and block that number? We are done with voicemails. We are no longer accepting calls from Cream Shack. And that'll bring me to this segment, which is my personal favorite. Although I do love figuring out the figurine. I do love Miss Crystal's creation of the week. Crystal's Creations LLC is live. By the way, .com. Still working on it. Got a fellow working on it. But you can go to it. Oh God, the haunted thing is falling. This week we have a cutie. This was handcrafted by me. I call her Orange Tangerine, and she is hand crocheted Of course, who does she look like? Little Tammy. She looks like Tammy as a child with them cute little cheeks. Now, as I was thinking about making this, I had the doll, right? See how it's just a little doll? I thought, what can I do to this to make it cute, to make it, regular size? Because this is tiny. It has tiny little arms. I thought, I want to make the arms longer. So I crocheted these little bouncy arms. And I thought, well, I got bouncy arms. Let me make bouncy legs. And it's a very complex crochet pattern where you have to crochet around and around and around and around. And I thought, well, I've got the long arms. Let me make a cute little dress to match. And the hat. And it's a tangerine dream, I think. Look at how cute she is. If she could talk, she'd say, "Thank you for making me some arms that are longer than my normal arms." In fact, I'm looking here. I remember I took the original arms off because they were very small. Kind of like a T-Rex, small, very small. Make me a bouncy doll. Boing, boing, boing. I just think she's really cute and she's really special. Tangerine Dream with Miss Crystal. And I think it's a testament to how much I love Tammy, since so many of my creations look like her. Which means she has a perfect face. She's got the little rosy red cheeks, just like Tammy, blue eyes, blonde hair, just like Tammy. And I think that's because, when I'm out there alone, not having a friend around, and, Tammy's busy. She's real busy. And I can just look at one of my creations and say, Tammy's here with me. She might be a little fake doll, but she's here with me. That's why I call her the Tangerine Dream. But I hope you like her as much as I do. This will be available on my website, crystalcreationsllc.com. And go check her out. You got to hurry because they sell out real fast. Real fast, especially at the prices. I mean, I have such amazing prices on my creations. The work that I put into it, they should be $100 or more, but they're not. They're usually 11 or 15. So get up there quick, because you snooze, you lose. That's what they say. Hello, Miss Crystal, I'm a tangerine dream. I look like Tammy, and sometimes I begin singing a song and think that I'm going to have a rhyme, and I don't. And that's embarrassing, and I'm sorry for that. But again, that is will be on crystalscreationsllc.com. And I can't believe I got that website address, considering there are so many other Crystal Creations LLCs out in the world. Guess which one got the domain name? Me. Not Crystal's Creation in Virginia. Not Crystal's Creation in California. Crystal's Creation right here in Nashville. And I want to thank you for coming by, seeing Miss Crystal in her little studio room. I'd like to call it my living room. I thank you for coming by week after week. It's only been 5 weeks, but week after week after week, you show up, you leave comments, you press like, you subscribe, you press the bell, whatever the bell does, you do all that. And I appreciate you. And I try to get on there and reply to comments, but it's hard. It's a lot of comments. It's time to go. I know you know. It's time to say goodbye. Everybody, but I love you. Say goodbye, safety man. It's the end. And with that, I'll see you next week. And may you be blessed beyond your comprehension, all the way from here to Australia. Bye-bye.